Ah, how is that album coming along? I hear you all ask. Bloody terrible. I have remembered I fucking love singing badly more than I love singing correct. It's a shame because I have it nearly all done, except for the vocals, because I refuse to take recording them seriously. I think I need to actually book a proper studio to do that, because when I'm paying for it, I'm not going to dick around like this. Means the world to me. So tired of sadness and of misery. Seriously, I can sing. Not great, but I can sing. That is not evidence of that. I do this every time. I record these really good tracks, I spend ages getting them right, and then when it comes to singing, I sometimes start out trying, and then I decide, this isn't fun. And I start deliberately doing it off key, or totally flat, or mumbled, or I do an impression of Dido, because I think that is a more enjoyable use of my time than actually recording proper singing. And when it comes to music not worth listening to, Deathlok. As if the metalheads needed more of a reason to hate me after raping a Black Sabbath song. Trust us, I will not release my music with shit comedy vocals. This is issue 3 of Deathlok's ongoing, and I think this cover is a homage to Summit, but I can't quite place it. Supervillain and Team Up number 9 is the closest that I can think of. I actually like some of the story here, but I didn't care for this fake out the day where they want us to think this is the real Mr. Doom. If you have not read this before, you read this and you just think, wow, this is a really bad showing for Mr. Doom. He is really out of character, and he is a bad guy that should not be farmed out to the new hero on the block like Deathlok. Then, if you're not that it's not Mr. Doom, you're disappointed rereading it because so much of the time is devoted to this fight with Mr. Doom that exists just to try and trick people. The twist is that This isn't Mr. Doom. This is a Doom bot, but it's a bit more exciting than that. It is a Doom bot that has evolved. It has upgraded itself. It has broken away from its programming and its parameters and its prime directives. And it wants to explore life and the meaning of philosophy and shit like that. That stuff I really like. I mentioned last time, but it is Digimon-esque. I have made 2 videos about Digimon, and I encourage you to watch them, because it makes me seem a lot less childlike in my reverence of Digimon. Digimon has a lot of existentialism bad guys, characters who wonder why they are there, bad guys who think existence is passé. And when we get past this bait and switch, the Doombot, he is a Digimon bad guy. He even looks like a Digimon. I think I like existential pondering bad guys when it's handled like it is here, or it's handled like it is in Digimon. Less like it is handled in something like Secret Wilds II. The Doombot asks what is life, but he only finds out what his life is, rather than what is life as a concept. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if that's accurate. It's hard to describe because I am not a scholar. I'm not a man to talk about philosophical ravens of sentient robots, but it is very different to what I perceive as the wrong way to do this sort of thing, which would be how Secret Wilds II does it. I spent quite a while before this trying to construct a sentence that best describes this sort of what is the meaning of life character. And the best I can come up with is saying that the answers we get are personal. We tackle the ideas through what they mean specifically to the Doombot, rather than being as ambitious as Secret Wilds II and failing because it's written by the boss man who nobody wants to say is embarrassing himself. This is where we start getting the reveal. We see the Doombot, let's call him Mecha Doomon. He has his own cyber factory filled with Doombots, but none of them are like him. They are just regular Doombots, and he doesn't understand that. And we have some of the wonkiest plotting in the story arc. Halfway into the issue, Deathlok and Pam Grier, they escape from the factory, and it feels totally pointless. It is a weird story beat. They're just going back to the factory straight away. And the reason it happens is so that Deathlok can go and tell Mr. Fantasticals about it. He has to tell Mr. Fantasticals about it for 2 reasons. The first is so that Mr. Fantasticals can give him some exposition about what is happening, since Mechadumon is too confused by its own sense of self to exposit a lot of very basic narrative needed. And the second reason is so that it can pave the way for the guest stars to show up at the end of next issue. They would seem to have no reason to show up, but they do have a bloody good enough reason, in that some of their friends and teammates have already been abducted by Mechadumon. What can I say? It is a comic edited by Tom Beevort. It is the first ongoing comic he ever edited. A quality writer like Dwayne McMilestone still succumbs to weakness when there isn't an editor pointing out stuff that anyone with half a brain would point out as storytelling faux pas. Here is Deathlok riding a funny sky bicycle. That's worth summit. We also have another pretty decent outside. I like that. But what I like even more is Mechadumon. It is the Doombot, but he has digivolved, hasn't he? The Doombot, at the start, it was like the champion level Digimon. And now it has digivolved all the way to mega level Digimon. And our champion level to mega level isn't in sequence. But my point is, this looks like something that would be a mega level Digimon. So that is my review of Deathlokmon issue 3. If you didn't know anything about Digimon, it probably hasn't been much worth. Every Digimon name has Mon on the end. I realise people who have never even thought about Digimon before won't know that. There is a story here, a story I enjoy. It's somewhat buried underneath iffy plotting and story beats and the awful metaphors last issue, but it's worth my 7 thumbs up.